Today is day 3 of our due diligence program for the Bonanza Gold Project in the Kenora Mining District of Ontario. Our technical team yesterday collected 13 samples at the Triggs prospect, one of the main prospects of the project. And in the afternoon, they sampled the Beck prospect. Took several samples there. This is day 3 of our program of due diligence. We're heading back in. It's about 10 minutes to 8. We plan to meet with Mr. Doug Bundy, our prospector, and a local geologist with our whole team at 8 a.m.
Yeah, we just arrived at the Kite Lake showing, and what I've got here is I've got the main pit here that we got some really good numbers out of. There's another pit back here, crib pit, that we haven't done much. We got some grab samples with really good numbers. There's 2 more right up here. Then there's one up on the hill here that we got really good numbers on. So there'll be a lot of stuff to look at here. A lot of good mineralization, a lot of big numbers, along with the smaller numbers on the side rock.
Well, in case we ever need it again, we'll know that you've got it, right? Whereas if I take it, it'll get left. Anyway, yeah, there's Kite Lake right there.
Right here.
Okay, and where's the...
So we were over here yesterday.
Where were we yesterday at the Wendigo?
Oh,
Right
that's
here.
Oh yeah, I'm looking the wrong way.
So Craig says that this here is the link to the Wendigo,
Okay.
and Charlie told me the same thing. He was in here and he said he found this showing here that goes up. We never went back on it. And then when we leave here, we'll head towards the Stella, and then the blue star is between the Stella and the Wendigo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trench or whatever it is here.
Guessing, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a trench.
And did they trench all the way to the other pit that we just came from? Or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And beside the quartz main, you've got the width, and you've got a lot of come and go quartz in that. But this is solid down here if you want to go down and look back at this and get some samples off of this wall.
Yeah, it'll be like 5 degrees cooler down there.
See the main quartz down there? Well, not today, but yeah, there's another one there, and then we got the one back here.
Yeah.
And the one up on the hill is the one that looked really good. He wasn't there?
No real info on that. One of the larger gold producers in the Kenora district at the time. And then copper too. And copper, yeah, it's unique in that sense that they have gold and copper in it. So there's actually a couple really good stuff. This excavation was created in the 1900s and the 1930s. Back in those days, they didn't have diamond drilling like they have nowadays. So what they did to prove that the mineralization that they see on surface, the gold mineralization at surface extends to depth, what they would do is use explosives and blast to depth to test the depth extension and determine the width of the mineralized zone from what they're seeing at surface. Nowadays, we don't do this. We diamond drill it. We test it with diamond drills right now.
We are assessing the veins in which the mineralization occurs and taking a couple of due diligence samples.
The side rock might be a little something there.
Can we get in there?
Is related to
Oh, no, there's the... I was just saying, what we're seeing here, once we get this drained and get down there and get back into the vein, they went down 65 feet with all that excellent cribbing. Gold wasn't worth a hell of a lot, and but they still went down, so they must have been getting some real high numbers. And it shows what they left behind. the stuff they left behind, we assayed some of this, and this was multiple ounces per ton, even though you can't use it because of where it comes from. But we did just to see what is maybe in the hole.
Of course. And just to repeat, this is not on the same trend as the other 3 pits. This is on a separate trend, and this is the only hole that we know that's been put on that
That's
trend.
what Craig says.
Yeah.
What I was going to do.
So yesterday, which would have been September 2nd, the price of gold hit an all-time high of $3,600. New Age Metals' main focus has been on critical metals. Having a tremendous background in gold, that's all I did for the first 25 years of my career. And Dr. Bill Stone, who's our consultant, has spent years and years in the gold business. We picked up some properties in Newfoundland that were both gold and antimony, and it's really been bothering me over the last few years that we didn't have a decent gold project. So we've been looking, and you know, I want to talk about the methods and how you actually acquire a gold project in this video, and so our shareholders and anyone watching can understand the complexities of acquiring things. There are several basic ways to acquire a project, and anything from staking the project if it was open land, typically open provincially if you're in Canada, and there are various methods to stake. More and more provinces, you can do it digitally right online with a credit card, knowing the coordinates. Some provinces like Manitoba still have physical staking, which is much more costly. You have to acquire the stakers. Typically they use a helicopter, and as I say, it's a lot more expensive to physically stake because you have to put claim posts in, and there's a way to do it that has to be done professionally. From there, you get, with a reputation and years of experience, you get a lot of submittals sent into you from various prospectors, small mining companies, sometimes major mining companies. Over my career, I've done over 43 deals with major mining companies, most of them to finance our projects, which is a secondary thing we're going to talk about as we go through here of what a prospect generator does. Now, a prospect generator typically is a company like ours that acquires projects, and as soon as we physically can, we try to bring in a big partner to help us finance that project through to production. It would mean typically we'll put in the first $1 million. Sometimes in a good market for years we can put in several $1 million, and at some point when we have enough data and enough encouragement, we start approaching our network of big companies, big gold companies. In the case of copper, big copper companies, like our deal we have with Mineral Resources, the 5th largest lithium company in the world. They now have about 10.5 million of their dollars into our project, so it's been a good deal for us. And the upside of being a prospector generator is you do start to generate some form of money from cash payments that would become from your partners, from the money in the ground they put. Typically we are the operator, so we receive up to 10% of those dollars in the ground for managing the project, and it allows us then to sell less stock and go out and basically acquire other projects, so you can have multiple projects if you have multiple partners. There are years that my group of companies, when I was out west, would have 5 or 6 joint ventures with major companies, and we would start the year with budgets of sometimes 10, 20, 30 million dollars of other companies' money, which gave you as a company and as shareholders of a company just a lot more chance to find something. So that's my loose definition of what a prospect generator is. But so we try to bring in a partner as soon as we possibly can, and in good times we will put more of our own money in. In bad times we try to bring in a partner as soon as we can. We are now in Kenora itself at the Ministry's office, Ministry of Energy and Mines, and we're going to take some pictures of some of the samples that some of the ministry geologists over the years have taken from the area that we're actually looking to option. We're back at the lodge at the end of a long day at Andy Lake, a long day of due diligence on the project. A lot of work was done today by our geological team, and I think I'm going to ask Bill to sum things up as to what happened today.
Thanks, Harry. So today we went to three major occurrences, major gold occurrences with historic activity. So we started out at Kite Lake, where there had been some pits generated, and we took some samples there of some nice quartz veins that they'd done historical excavations on. And then we went to Stella and looked at a number of pits, but eventually went into a historic adit and sampled along a really juicy looking quartz vein for 50 feet, I think it was, so about halfway along the adit. And we ended up the day at Blue Star, where some highly mineralized quartz veins are exposed at surface in a trenched area, and we took 7 additional samples there. So in total today we took 13 samples, which with the 12 samples yesterday, we've totaled 25 samples in total.
Overall, from my point of view, more a layman, I'm not a geologist or an engineer, been in this industry for over 40 years. We have everything you would want in a project. We have a big electrical line going right through the middle of the project. We have roads everywhere. We have multiple targets. We're going to assay at least 25 samples this time, but we have many very high-grade samples that will be taken in the past on the project. It's very close to infrastructure. We're about a 25-minute drive to Kenora, a town that has absolutely everything you would need if you're a junior mining company. And from my opinion, the project looks very good.
Yeah, I would agree. It's there's a lot of exposure, of mineralized rock, and a lot of historical activity, which is in pretty good shape, some of which is accessible, and we confirmed that today. And there just seems to be gold everywhere. Wherever they look, wherever they're breaking rock, they're finding quartz veins, and they're finding good grade gold. So I'm very encouraged, and looking forward to getting the assay results back from the 25 due diligence samples that we've taken in the last 2 days.
Subject to us moving forward, Bill, what would some of the next steps be on this project, and maybe if we can get a fall program in, what would we do?
Well, I think what's important here is that we have all this historic data, but it's a bit all over the place, whatever the word is. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we need to do, and Michaela and I actually were talking about this today, is to put an effort to consolidate a lot of that data so that we benefit from work that's been done in the past, and we're not repeating things that have already been done. That's one thing we need to do. The second thing is that we did find a little bit of drill core on the project, which we didn't know was there. That was a pleasant surprise. So we want to inventory that to see exactly what we've got, because the boxes are still the tags on the boxes, the core boxes, are still legible, readable. So we want to inventory what we've got, and we probably have to rebox it. But we also found out where the rest of the core is. It's at the Cameron Lake gold mine, which is not that far from here. So if we can get all that core together in one spot and rebox it, relog it, and do whatever resampling that would make sense, that's something else that we could do. I think again, there's a lot of gold showings and occurrences on this property. It's a big property, and we've only seen less than half of them in this last couple of days. So a third thing to do would be to go and visit the rest of them and do some more sampling and some additional mineral prospecting.
And if we get serious on this project next year, what would we do after all of that in a phase one?
Well, I think the important thing would be a couple things. We could do some drone LiDAR. There's a lot of, they found a lot of pits that were excavated in historical times, you know, the 1930s, 40s, 50s, even up into the 80s. But there's more to be found. So if we could do a drone LiDAR survey over the entire property, I'm pretty confident we'll double the amount of pits. So that's going to tell us where gold mineralization was before. Because a lot of these pits, some of them are very small and might have been a single blast, but a lot of them are 50, 60, 100 feet deep, and took a lot of effort. So there was something there that these guys were chasing up. So we could do a LiDAR survey, which would give us topography and help us find some of these pits that are partly grown over, hidden in the trees, whatever. And the second thing we could do with a drone is a magnetic survey of the property, mapping out the magnetic response of the various rock units. And that would help us with a property-wide geological map, put something together that's coherent across the property. And it would also help us with mapping out prospective structures and structural features that the gold deposits might be preferentially associated with. High strain zones, faults, fractures, topographic lows, essentially.
And I heard you mention one time not too long ago that maybe a good structural geologist would be someone to bring in to help us here. Is that still the case?
Well, I think we need to, first of all, get the historical data together and consolidated and into products that we're confident in the outcomes, and then a structural study would make sense on that. Because we don't want to bring somebody in who's going to have to reinvent the wheel to do what they need to do. If it's already been done, then if we can consolidate that and make a uniform map of the property, then that would be a solid basis for a structural study. And the structural study, because the structural controls here are pretty obvious on the gold mineralization, at least the concept of structural control, the details is what we'd be looking for, like what directions and that are controlling gold mineralization in the different areas of occurrence on this property.
And of course, just about everybody in this industry wonders, well, at what point do you drill a project like this? How far are we away from drilling?
A year?
Yeah, a
Maybe-
good solid year.
Maybe a year and a half. Again, we can look at the historic drilling and try and understand what it is they were doing and what they intersected, and then do all the other things that we've been talking about, and that will help us put together kind of a phase one drill program that could be executed, subject to market conditions, of course, but a year from now, so in the fall of 2026 or in the spring of 2027.
Very good.
The great thing about this property is that the prospectors who have put it all together and done all of the work to get it to this point have and they've got the permits in place to do work. They've done a lot of the groundwork that we would normally have to do as a junior company. It's already been done, so they've moved it almost to a drill ready status, but we don't want to drill too soon because it's not necessarily an optimal use of funds available, right? We want to make maximum use of all this historic data, as I said, as a platform for which to spring forward.
Well, that's an excellent point too. It should be mentioned that we do have a 3-year exploration permit that 2 years have gone by. I'm sorry, 1 year has gone by and we have 2 more years. So that is something very difficult to find when you acquire property. It will come with the property and we can use that permit.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of work that we don't have to do. It's already been done. So that will help us drill sooner rather than later. And again, a lot of the exposures, these occurrences, the better known ones, are pretty well exposed at surface from historical work and the work that the prospectors have done recently. So it's in a good position to move quickly.
So putting you on the spot a bit, but from 0 to 10 on an exploration bet, gold, Ontario, where would you rate this from 0 to 10 to start with?
Well, I'd give it an 8.2.
Okay, excellent. I agree.